And the farmer brought some of his produce, some vegetables, maybe some carrots, peas, whatever, but nothing extravagant. And when God looked at what these guys had brought, he said, I accept and I'm pleased with what the rancher brought. But the farmer, he didn't accept it. He wasn't pleased with it. And because of that, the farmer started to get angry about it. And he said he was a little downcast. He started to get mopey and, probably started to resent his brother because God had accepted his brother. And then God showed up and he said, hey, why do you feel angry? Why do you feel downcast? Don't you know that all you have to do is bring me something that's acceptable, bring me an excellent offering, and I'll accept you. I'll accept that. But the farmer, this brother, he couldn't turn around, he couldn't reverse track. He couldn't accept that. And so he just kept letting it fester, and he kept holding it in. And the story ends like this. And Cain said to his brother Abel, let's go out in the field. And while they're in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel, and he killed him. One of the things I never realized about that story, and reading it yesterday the first time, I never realized that God, his desire there was for Cain to reverse track, to change, to bring an acceptable fit, to start over. God came to him and he said, you know it's acceptable, I want your best, I just want you to change. But Cain couldn't do that. He just let all that junk fester, all those feelings, the downcast, the anger, he let it fester, and he ends up being known as the first murderer in history. I can identify with that. Not the murdering part, but the part about letting it fester. As I let all this stuff fester, I walked that same track. That was my last week, was saying, God, I'm bringing this offering to you, I'm showing up to serve, but I'm not doing it in the right mindset. I'm envious, I've got all this separation. And as I was bringing these offerings that weren't right, that weren't my best, it separated me one after another, created this separation between me and God. And eventually that led to the same thing as Cain. It led to rebellion. And so sitting in church yesterday, I realized that, I don't want to hold on to all this junk. Because what I knew, what God changed in me, was that he changed my heart to the point where my service and the things that I did, they were out of response to what he did for me. And that felt great. There was none of this weight of the world, always having no free time, no space to breathe on me. And I wanted that. But the problem was that as I look back on my last week, that wasn't the offering I was bringing. It was leading to the rebellion. And so it brought me to this place where I was looking at it and I was saying, what do I do? I've gone down this track where I've got all this junk. I've told God basically, I want to invite you into certain places, but I don't want to invite you into other places. I want my time. I want to be able to listen to what I want to listen to on the radio. I want to be able to, have my time where I can just kind of blow you off and just have my own time. And the sacrifice, the offering that I was bringing to God, I was mixing all that stuff into it. I was mixing all that me into it, and it wasn't my best. And so because of that, my response to that yesterday was that I got down on my knees when I was starting to prepare this talk, and I gave that up to God. And before that at church, I talked to Woody, I talked to Will about it, and we prayed about it. And then I called up Joe on Sunday afternoon, I talked to him, and I apologized, and we prayed about it. And there's freedom in that. I know that it's a process. It's still my journey. It's not like I can just, everything's not great. God's still got me on a path, on a journey. He's still teaching me things. But there's freedom in being able to go to God and saying, okay, I get it. I'll accept what you're telling me. I'll come to you and I want to bring my best. And when I serve you, I want to bring my offering for one reason and one reason only. Not because of expectations, not to get approval, not to I feel good about myself, but because of what God did for me. So that's what I want to share with you guys tonight, and what I want to talk about tonight. Which is the questions. What baggage, what obstacles are you bringing to the table when we talk about serving? And maybe it's the past experiences, or maybe it's that you don't have or you don't make the time for serving. Maybe it's that you're not qualified, or you don't feel you're qualified. You don't want to make a commitment. You tried it before and felt trapped. Only do it to seek approval for other people as a status symbol. And then, are you offering your best to God where you are right now? And if not, what would that look like? And pray for each other. And again, guys, with the serving thing, and again, this is my baggage I bring to it, but it's not about guilt. It's not about expectations. It's about where you're at right now and what can you bring to God. What does He want of you? So, leave the crap in the parking lot. 1, 2, 3, go. Bring it back in here for a minute. Stephen. You know, I think my favorite verse about offering ourselves as sacrifices, one Woody threw up on the screen yesterday, is Romans 12. You know, when Paul says, because of what God did for you, because what He did for me, what He did for all of us, just offer your bodies as living sacrifices. You know, put yourselves out there in a place where God can use you. No strings attached, no conditions. I say, you know, this week, let's go out. Let's look where God can use us. Let's put ourselves out there and make ourselves totally available to Him. And let's do it as a community together. So, Woody, would you close us up?